welcome to Subjective Thoughts. And our comic for today is Hazzard, Merc, issue 7 by Marvel. Now there is fighting, shooting, violence, explosions, destruction, killing, and more shooting in this one. So if you are in any way squeamish, you have been warned. Also, spoilers. Alright, here's the team. So, it's been a bloody long time since I read Hazzard, Merc issue 6. Because as I said back then, I only had the 6 issues. And then 2 weeks ago, my friend Leor happened upon issue 7 here in Israel. And I was like, oh, please buy that one for me. I was so ecstatic. I was like, yay, I can continue. There are in total, from what I remember, 12 issues. So I'm not that many off now, but still, yeah. I'm missing a little over half. A little less than half, sorry. What am I saying? Yeah, so I got it, and I was ecstatic. Yeah, I can continue. Oh, and yeah, again, I said bloody long time because I finished reading. We're now in May 2026. So last year was when I read the issue 6. Yeah, again, a long fucking time. Okay, but anyway. But from what I remember, in issue 6, we left off with Hazzard had this job somewhere, was it Germany? And they realized they were working for Nazis, and he just wouldn't do it. He also met with the lady that was against them. And he basically ended up screwing the job for Treetop and Mel, and he shot Treetop in order to stop him. And then that's it, he left. So that was quite the bad ending between the three of them. Obviously. Yeah, so that's it, that's where that ended. Mark just left. He said, it's not worth it. Money's not all. Okay, we start this issue with Mark is somewhere in middle America? Or was it? Central America. Just 2 days away from somewhere, Texas. And he's there helping guerrilla rebels to fight their government. They're stopping some supply chain that's going to that's coming to bring supplies for the government, I think. And they ambush them, and that's it. They take over. They grab the supplies, the prisoners. Mark is with them with some kind of a friend of his, Sergeant General. It doesn't actually give him a name. But yeah, Sergeant General and that, and then the commander of the guerrillas has got one eye and an eye patch. That doesn't have a name. It's just commander. So yeah, they help him there. They secure the supplies. They round up the prisoners, and then because Mark asks about the prisoners, and then you hear gunshots. So I take it the prisoners were killed. So that's it. That job is wrapped up. Then we go to, I'm not sure how long after that. Mark is in some kind of museum for aircrafts with his son Scott. He's having a rare vacation weekend with his son. So they're going around looking at the exhibits. And then suddenly on the speakers, Mark is told that he has a phone call on the white customary phone. And so he tells Scott to go check out the gift shop and gives him some money. And Scott's like, "Aw, Dad, come on. And Mark tells him, I won't be long. So then he goes, and the phone call told him to meet a man. They'll be waiting for him next to some kind of other exhibit. What was it? It's not such an important detail, but still. Oh yeah, and here it's in the evening. They're like, oh great, we helped you. So that's a Sergeant Major. Sorry, not General. That's it. They say goodbye. Skylab exhibit. There we go. Okay, he meets a man there. He looks Asian to me for some reason. I think he's probably from the Gorillas, maybe, or maybe not. But anyway, he's from he represents a former employer of Mark. And he came to tell him that the commander that he helped out, again, not sure how much time passes in between, that he's helping and then the vacation, but he says he's been captured. He's in a prison called the Fist of the Devil, and we need to get him out. Now we can supply you with weapons and aircrafts, but we cannot give you any money. I didn't exactly get why, but I think they don't have the funds to pay him to do the job, but he's going to do it anyway. He said it's fine, it's for a friend, you'll just owe me. But then he says, but I do have one request. And, because the next panel is just the guy saying, you're serious? And I was like, what did Mark ask for? And then Mark goes back to Scott and tells him, I'm sorry, Scotty, a job came up. Business came up, we have to go. And he said, oh, Dad, but you promised. He's like, don't worry, I arranged a little surprise. And the surprise is that a helicopter is taking them home. Or more accurately, taking them back to where Scott lives with his mom. Mark and his, his ex-wife, divorced. So, I think Scott says, oh, what a cool trade-off. Because, the weekend's cut short, but he got to ride a helicopter. I guess Mark thought of how to make it up to him. So he drops off Scott. His ex-wife's like, hey, why are you back so soon? I thought you were going to be gone the whole weekend. I mean, it's your son, lady. Did you have any plans? And he says, sorry, business. And then he dashes off to some kind of a business building in some avenue something. And he goes in, and the secretary's like, you can't go in there, sir. But then the man he's there to see, called Ritter, was it Ritter? Let me check. I think it was Ritter. Ritter, was it Ritter? I'm shit with names, so let's see. Yeah, Ritter. Okay. I guess he called ahead, and then he says, what took you? What kept you? Come along while I get some work done. And this guy's all about the aircrafts and helicopters and shit. Because his work involves testing out some helicopter or something. So Mark goes with him. They get into the helicopter. And while he does the stuff in the sky, he tells him about the commander and how he needs a pilot. And Richard's like, nah, sorry, Mark. Because he tells him there's no money there. They're not going to get paid. And he's like, I need incentives, my friend. I'm not just going to go and do this for free. And then, and Mark's really angry and like, fine, I'll remember that, friend. Sorry. I sneezed. Yeah, he tells him, I'll remember that, then Mark leaves. But then the guy goes back into his office, and the same man that met Mark is sitting there and telling him, hello, Mr. Ritter, I believe I have something to offer you for basically the job. Some kind of a proposition that you can't refuse. So then Mark goes to a theater or some opera house or something. Not opera house. Basically, he goes there to look for Mel, because Ritter said no. He needs someone to fly a helicopter. So interesting, because I thought Treetop was the one that mostly flew the helicopters. The Carnegie Hall. Anyway, yeah, he goes there and like, Mel, I need your help. And yeah, Mel says, yeah, I heard. Did you hear also the Treetop? Mel tells him. You also hear that Treetop's still in the hospital? And Mark's like, come on, Mel, you know why I have to shoot Treetop, and I really need... And some lady behind him's like, shh. So they've been kicked out, and Mel's angry, and like, thanks a lot, Mark. You're a real pal. And then Mark's like, oh, forget it. Just forget all of it. And then he goes back home, and Sergeant Major and lady, he just calls her Doc, they came over to see him in his apartment, and he tells them the story and what help he needs, and that he won't think any less of them if they refuse, because they're going to go in without a helicopter to support, or some kind of plane to fight alongside them. So they're going to have to escape on foot, basically. And they're like, really, sir, we're coming. Because Major says, those are our half-trained guerrillas. So he tells them, because they have the half-trained guerrillas, and that's it. And Doc says, yeah, also these people need help. Now, she is for sure Asian, I think. Okay, and now, what's funny is, I don't know why Mark even went to Mel after everything, because, Mark, I don't think he's going to want to work with you, especially when there's no money involved, and especially after what happened. I certainly hope he's not going to approach Treetop in the future. I'm certain Treetop's not going to want to fucking have anything to do with them after he shot him. I mean, shit, the man's still in the hospital. Who knows if he's even fine? And then Mark shoot a bullet that would go through and not harm him too much. But even so, you gotta recover from that. Yeah, I wish they put, like, some time, like, how much time has passed here. Like, is this a few weeks after that incident? And all of that? Because it is confusing with the timeline. But, yeah, anyway. but yeah, so that's it. It's settled. Mark says thank you, thanks a lot, and he calls that employer to get them going. So that's it. They're in this place where that prison is. They're outside. They're looking at the clock, because it's a prison that is said that it's unpenetrable. There's no escape from it. Well, that's why they want Mark to do it, because they thought he's the only man for the job. And that's it. They're standing outside. Mark, the Major, one of them's looking at his watch. And then the Major says, with a bit of luck, or if luck stays with us. And I think Mark then answers, got nothing to do with luck, because you got two guys, two of the gorillas from between the trees. They're shooting basically missiles from the big cannons that they're holding. And kaboom goes the front of the prison. And then they all swoop in, guns blazing, just shooting everyone. They're going through, and then they have to work quickly. They have to get the commander, because the longer he's there, the less likely they will be able to pull him out of there alive. Meanwhile, Mark is talking to another gorilla named Esteban, Yeah, it was Esteban. And telling him about their progress. So they are, that's it, they're inside, they keep shooting, the fight's going. Mark says, okay, Doc, you're with me. And the major, says, yeah, you go, sir, we'll hold this up. They go through the prison, shooting at, more guards that are coming, and they have to find the commander quickly, and they do. They get in, he's with someone there, and another guard. It calls Mark a gringo pig. I gotta ask what gringo means. Yeah, he calls him that, Mark shoots him. They get closer to the commander. Mark asks the doctor, is he gonna make it? Is he alright? And then the commander opens his eyes and he's like, I am alright, my friend. I will live to fight the government, basically. So they put him on the stretcher and get out of there. And then they're like, okay, we gotta hurry before they figure out, I guess that's why we came. And then more explosives or something are thrown in, and then they skedaddle out of there. Now they keep walking, and then they check their map, and they see the spot that they're gonna go to is where, however long ago it was, they've done that mission of stopping the supply column. So it's settled, and so after how many hours of grueling, back-breaking walk, they get there. And Mark radios Esteban, and they go, and like that's it, just a little bit more, but then they are shot at. And it's like, what is going on? And then when the smoke clears, they look, and it's Esteban. So Esteban, as it turns out, is a traitor. Who could have seen that coming? He's a traitor, he's working for the government, and they're surrounded. All around there are, I guess, government soldiers. They're like, okay, and Esteban goes down to them, and okay, surrender the traitors, the guerrillas, and the commander to me, and I'll let you live, kind of thing. And the commander gets up from the stretcher, and obviously he's fucking angry. He's like, you treacherous pig, you. And then Esteban turns to him, why you? And then Mark looks between them, and there's one chance. He grabs his gun, and he grabs Esteban's hand, not his gun, knocks the gun out, and then knocks Esteban. It almost looks like he does a Bane on him. Like he breaks his back on his knee. I'm sure he didn't. I don't think he had enough strength for that, but kind of looks like that. But anyway, then the shooting starts again. They kind of Mark says, okay, quickly now. He yells to the major, throw a smoke bomb, and they do, and it's like, everyone find a hole and get in it. And they're laying on the ground, and they're being shot at, and like, how the fuck are they gonna get out of this? And then Mark and Major are next to each other, so Mark's like, what were you saying about luck, Major? But then the cavalry has arrived. An A-10 plane, or is it something 10? This plane. 1 second. Because they stopped firing. Yeah, an A-10 comes out of nowhere. This plane starts shooting at the government soldiers, shooting at them, clearing them out. And then out of the plane, they see Ritter. Or not out of it. They see Ritter. He's the one flying the plane. And he said, well, what do you think about that, you bloody Merc? He tells Mark. Mark's like, Ritter! And yelling at him, okay, stop showing off and take them out. So he does. He kills off all the remaining soldiers. And then that's it. And then Mark radios him, "Not bad, hotshot. See you soon." And then they get the commander to safety. And he tells him, "Thank you, my friend. When we win, you will be paid, and paid well." And Mark's like, "Don't worry, I've been paid already. Adios." And now Doc, she decides to stay with the commander. And then Majors asks, "What do you think of her staying?" He asks Mark. And then Mark says he's a good man and she'll be a lot of help to him. Oh, I wonder if in that brief time there's a little, something. I mean, they take fancy to each other. I mean, she's a doctor. I'm sure she wants to help, but I wonder if this is the only reason she's staying. Because the way they talk about it, it seems like, there's something there. Maybe. Yeah, she's staying there, and then Mark's, there's our ride. It's Ritter, but now he's in a helicopter. He's not on the A-10 thing, a plane. And then he's like, "Hey guys, beautiful morning, eh?" And then Mark approaches him and, "Ritter, you sorry excuse for a human being?" And he punches him. And Mark is like, "Do you know how many good men you could have saved if you came earlier with that A-10? Why couldn't you have been with us from the start?" And then Richard's, "What do you mean? What do you mean? That showboat was the only reason I came at all. I've wanted to fly one of those since those suckers since I mustered out. I made it worth my while to come, instead of money." And the Major's like, Ritter's passing him a bottle. And he's like, "Come on, Colonel," that's what he calls Mark. "You know how it is." "Come on, Mark," says Ritter. "Incentives, man, incentives." And Mark's like, "Right, not friendship, incentives." Mark's angry. And that's it. That's where the issue ends. Okay, so first cover here. So I like this one here. You see you got Mark waving at Ritter, though he later punches him. By the way, the plane doesn't look like that there. It's way too small on the cover. Because it's way longer and bigger. I guess they just wanted to represent, or maybe it's the angle. They see standing there, and then around them bodies of the government soldiers. A good colors, the red making the plane and Mark stand out. And then you got the soldiers in blue there to, I guess, represent the dead. I didn't, though, at first notice them, to be honest, because your eye's really captured by this here. And they're kind of down below there in blue. Although the blue does stand out in front of the red, but still it's not like catches your eye. But anyway, still a good cover. Oh, shit, almost dropped it. At least this one has some action on it, because the cover for issue 6 just has Mark standing with the gun, which isn't bad, but... Okay, so there, the supply. It comes. Oh, and this is Hazzard. It's by Larry Hama. Okay, and then you see that's Mark, and that's the commander there, the eye patch. I just said he has an eye patch instead of saying he's missing an eye and has an eye patch. That was redundant of me. You see, there they are. That's the Major. Over there. Yeah, like I wish in here, it would have written... Okay, here we start with him and his son in the exhibit. Okay, yeah, Scotty, I remembered his name. It should have just said here in a little box, like, I don't know, 2 weeks later or a few days later or something, to indicate how much time has passed. I think it just would have been helpful to understand how long it was from that until they've captured him. I mean, based on the conversation between him and Major, I guess it hasn't been that long, but still. I wish they would have added that. Okay, yeah, there he goes to meet the guy. And the art in here is good, it's decent, detailed. It's got good coloring. There's our gentleman. There's their meeting. There's Ritter over here. He really loves his planes, that guy, or his helicopters. He's also a mercenary, besides, I guess, owning a business? He's given a bit more details here, to be honest, about some things. Okay, there's a major again, and that's Doc. And that's Mel at watching a piano concert. Well, they didn't get to fully witness the concert, unfortunately, for him. And I'll just show you the explosion. Well, that's it, it's settled. Yeah. Woohoo, look at that explosion. Okay, so that's the art. Alrighty then, so this was issue 7. Now for the story. So it kind of, the first few issues of Mark, Hazzard, Merc, it seemed like there would be like this continuous plot, but then it moved and there was that one issue, and then I think it was that issue before, issue 5 I think it was, where it seemed like it was some random thing that Mark ended up doing together with Mel. I don't know, it looks like the way it continues here is just going to be probably more missions. Now what I'm wondering if we're going to ever get back in the remaining issues too, because his ex-wife's new husband, who he works for, his boss, has wanted to neutralize Mark. Kill him. So I wonder if we're going to get back to that or not. Because from the way it seems here, where it looks like it's never going to be mentioned again. I wonder if later on in the series they just didn't know what exactly to do with Mark. Because, yeah, Mark's a mercenary, he's been in the army, but he's not exactly he's not exactly a bad man, or even the kind of mercenary they'll do take any job for money, as we've learned in the previous issue. Because once he found out what kind of man he was paid to protect, he did not want to do it anymore. But it looks like Mel and Treetop are less bothered by such things. So it's interesting why Mark even continues with this. And I guess it's also the freedom of the job, because he has to go in and do these things, and he has to find his own ways. I get the feeling Mark wouldn't, probably doesn't want to get back to a strict routine, but I have to wonder if he loves the sort of action and having to go and do these things and can't quite, quite leave it really. But he's clearly not really there much for the money, even though he could use it, because, again, he blew up that job because he found out he's working for a Nazi guy, and basically shot his own friend and fellow mercenary over it. And, well, and then now this, where he's willing to come back and save the commander for no real fee, because it's his friend. And he got Richards like, sorry, Mark, I ain't doing it for free. I mean, to be fair, you are going in risking your ass, so you understand wanting some kind of compensation or incentive. But I also understand Mark. This is a friend. You want to go in and save your friend. But yeah, that is what it is in this case. It's nice to see Scotty again, see Mark spending some more time with him. In that regard, he did make a change, because now he's, trying to spend time with his kid, and actually, even arranging their surprise for him. So that's really nice. Sorry, not arranging a surprise, but, asking this things, so his son at least gets a fun experience before they have to say goodbye, and he's off on his job. So yeah, really, I'm not sure where the rest of the series is gonna go. Because again, see here, we start with another just job that Mark has. So I wonder how they've decided to really conclude it. And that's too early to talk about the conclusion, but as I said, it sort of throws you off, because the first 3 issues follow this one storyline, but then you go and veer to something else. Which isn't necessarily bad, but I feel like those are the kind of things you do when you have a long run. When you have a short run, even though 12 is not that short, but still, if you have like you're only going to do this many issues, you feel like you would, at least for most of them, make up like this one storyline to follow, and then, wrap it up. Well, I'd say that they did that in, what was the Keanu Reeves comic? Berserker, but to be fair, that was quite shit in the end, so maybe not a good comparison. But regardless, I am enjoying these issues, and I am enjoying the series. I think it's definitely one I would reread again in the future. After, of course, I have the whole thing. Which, as I said back then, I'll say now again, I'm not sure when I will get the rest of the issues. Unless my friend Leo happens to find another one, which I doubt. It's a pretty old comic and probably wasn't that super popular. This could have, made a decent movie, I think. Like, use to take this, like, the basic idea and make an action flick. That could have been cool. I would have watched it. Yeah, maybe. Given Marvel's current track record, I don't know if I'd fucking bother. Not to mention they'd probably make it PG-13, which would just suck out all the coolness, fun, and excitement out of it. So, yeah, fuck that idea. But anyway, this was issue 7. I enjoyed it. I always love the action explosions we have here, and Mark having to think of what to do next, and, having fights with his mercenary friends. And then showing us new mercenary friends. Actually, I'm pretty sure the Major's probably also some kind of mercenary. Yeah. Alright, so let me know what you thought of issue 7 of Mark Hazzard Merc. And that is it. Remember, collect what you're passionate about, share it on YouTube. Bye!